Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name's Dennis, and I'm here with...
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dorian.
And we've got...
Josh Weyers.
I think has it been a while since we got the three of us together?
I think it's been a minute.
A month or maybe more than a month.
Maybe a month or two before all three of us back. A lot of news. I had texted you. We're actually doing this episode a little earlier than usual because tomorrow... We have, are we allowed to say what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to check out the Doom Eternal. There's going to be a demo of that. Anyway, so we're going to be gone for, I think, half the day, so we decided to shoot the podcast a day early. A lot of news, like I said, even today, because I already had set off, all right, the news of this, or the topic and title of this episode is going to be about Sony skipping E3 again, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
Yeah. But then we get more news dropped upon all the delays that we're going to hear about, which is like Avengers being delayed, Final Fantasy VII being delayed, but even bigger, Cyberpunk 2077. It was supposed to come out in April. Now it's delayed to September. They said the game is done.
Yeah.
They just need to polish it up. So
that's what they're all saying.
That's every PR statement is saying the same thing. It's like
we need to polish.
It's all everything's done. We just want to polish it because we want the fans. We want it to be up to the expectations the fans want it to be. We know so.
Nobody wants an Anthem on their hands.
So
I mean, well, speaking of delays as well, I know that they announced the delay a while back, but also The Last of Us 2. Like, it really is turning out to be the year of delays.
So. Dorian, what's your take on the delay? Good thing, bad thing?
For Death Stranding or just in general? For Death Stranding,
Death Stranding, for Cyberpunk 2077.
I mean, yeah, sorry, Cyberpunk. For Cyberpunk, I'm fine with them.
Okay.
Like for them saying like it's completely done, like, and saying like the city's really big and we just want to polish it. I'm completely fine with that. Just because like I rather them push it back and it be like it'd be the masterpiece of 2020, like it'd be the game of the year. Like I rather that than it be released 5 months earlier and then they're like saying like, oh, we got to make these fixes. Oh, we're like doing all these updates and patch glitches like within the first couple weeks. So fine with me, push it back, do what you got to do to make sure that this is a masterpiece. Like I'm completely fine with that. Like they said, Rome wasn't built in a day, so if Cyberpunk needs a couple more months, I'll give it to them.
Josh?
I know I brought up Anthem again just now, but I'm going to bring it up now for the reason as to why I'm okay with this is Anthem did release a day one patch. Looking back, they did release a day one patch, but by the time Anthem released a day one patch, they were slaughtered online. And I don't think any studio ever wants to go through that. Even if they released the game in the state that they would have, on the date they would have suggested, they probably could have fixed it with a day one patch, but they would have been like butchered, you know what I mean, in the news articles. So that being said, I mean, I think it is a big delay. I will say that. It is definitely one of the bigger delays, which is unfortunate, but I don't know, man. They have to take their time. At the end of the day, what can we do about it? You know, I'm not going to be like knocking on CD Projekt Red's door, going, "Excuse me,
hey, where's that shit?" Like,
you know,
where's
crunch hour? These people don't need sleep.
Yeah.
Come on.
You need a flight to whatchamacallit.
Wherever they are in at Narnia, wherever that is.
But yeah, I'm okay with it as well. Like I said before, with The Last of Us Part 2 being delayed, I was like, look, I still have a lot of games that I need to play or finish, and this just gives me more time. Not that there's a prequel to this, but just gives me more time to play other games. You know, we have Half-Life Alyx coming out in March. We're going to have Last of Us Part 2, I think, in May now?
Yeah.
Instead of, it was supposed to come out in February. So, look, I have plenty of stuff to play until that time. I know it's been years and years. This project has been in development and delaying this back. So the people who are kind of waiting just for this game, I can see how they're going to be upset or pissed because they've been like waiting and waiting, and they finally got a release date, and now it gets pushed back. I'm okay with the polish. I think.
I mean, I was going to say for Final Fantasy VII, it's only a month delay. I've been waiting for this game since they announced it. It's been 4 years. I can wait another month. Okay. I'm more than happy to wait that extra month.
Now, if we,
you know,
like if we get closer to the Cyberpunk date, we get like a month away, and then they're like, "Psych, we're pushing it back just a little bit more." Then I'll be pissed. But if they keep
my real question is, a lot of things are getting delayed close to the next like console generation launch. Like, and I'm trying to think. I'm hoping at least that a lot of these games that are getting delayed closer towards the holiday time, will we be able to see a better version of that on the next generation. You know what I mean?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like this is because what they're talking about is they want Cyberpunk 2077 to be the crowning achievement for this generation, which this generation being PS4 and Xbox One. So they're not really talking about the next gen. And also, it's just one of those things, like I said, I'm okay with the delay. I think, ultimately it'll be a good thing. However, because this game has been so hyped, it's been in development for so long, and now you're delaying it again and saying you're putting the polish on it. That means when it comes out, like, it has to be.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be It has to be. The day it drops, I want all the Game Award people to be like, nope, that's the Game of the Year. We don't need any nomination, other nominations. Like, this is the definitive Game of the Year. That's how good it has to be for this delay to be for them to push it back this far.
Yeah, you're pushing. You're just making the hype even greater for it.
I'm still gonna get the game when it comes out. That's for sure. That's for sure. But I do look back at like the PlayStation 3, that generation of consoles. The Last of Us 2 pushed it to its limits. So did GTA 5. But then, literally a couple months later, when the next generation came out, we saw the update. We saw the remaster of Last of Us 2. We saw the updated GTA 5. So I do think that they definitely do it. They're going to do it for the money regardless. But I'm wondering if it's worth people just waiting for that version. Then if I'm going to wait this long for the delay,
the fans are not.
They're not. Like, I'm going to play the game because I want to play the game. I want to see Keanu Reeves and I want to live that life. But it's like, I'm trying to think, like, I'm sure there are a couple people out there thinking, I'll just wait for the PS5 and get it on that.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, if someone is willing to delay.
Or the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Which I'm leaning more towards now.
Which is funny. I mean, a little side tangent here with the Xbox Series One X. We reported last week or talked about the report of them saying there's no exclusives. And it's weird. I saw
on
these
launch or something, yeah.
Not launch for a year.
Oh.
Like there won't be Xbox One Series X exclusives, and then I think a lot of people took it the wrong way because I saw a lot of complaints. It doesn't mean there won't be exclusives for the Xbox. It's just that they'll double up on Xbox One and Xbox Series X, and I didn't quite get the backlash that some people had because I saw a bunch of people like, well, that's it. I'm going to get a PS5. And I'm like, you understand, I don't know if there are going to be any PS5 exclusives, and when I mean exclusives, like non-PS4 games, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be very limited, right?
Sure, yeah.
Most of the games coming out are going to be both PS4 and PS5 because studios want to make money. How are they going to make money? They're going to release it for the console that is most actively played and owned at that time. So,
I mean, that's what they've always done as well. When PS4 came out, they were still making PS3 games, and same when PS2 had the longest lifespan. They were making PS2 games still well into the end of the PS3 cycle as well.
So yeah, I just don't get that backlash because I don't think it's going to be very different for the PS5 either. I don't think there's going to be many, if any, PS5 and exclusive. There will be PlayStation exclusives, just like Xbox will have Xbox exclusives. It just won't be Xbox Series X exclusives. Just like Halo Infinite is going to be coming out on both systems. Why? Because they're going to put so much money into this game, and if they drop it for Series X, which, even on a healthy sales of the system, you're nowhere near what the installed base is for your previous generation.
Of course.
And they're active people. They're active people playing on that system. So that's just a side note. And because you're talking about Cyberpunk 2077 having a potential next gen,
the portability to the next console,
that's great. That's fine.
Side tangent as well. I think PlayStation 5 doesn't have to worry because a lot of the people I've been talking to, the first couple of months on the PS5, they're just going to be playing PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 games. Which, by the way, guys, anybody listening to this, buy them on eBay now because next year, I'm buying PlayStation 2 games for $3 a pop right now.
That's smart.
Exactly.
Okay.
Once the PS5 comes out, those games on eBay are going to be $30 a pop or more because they're rare.
Yeah. Yes, you can sell them. You can buy them just for the fact that if you want to flip them later on. Smart thinking ahead, Art. Making moves.
Before they remastered Final Fantasy X, getting Final Fantasy X on the PS2 before they remastered for the PS3, that game on its on base, just the PS2 game was getting sold for $80 to $90 on eBay. Now they remastered it. Now it's like $3. But but yeah, go buy your games now before they're gonna be sold out or prices go up next year. That's what I'm doing. I already got myself Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks and Def Jam Fight for New York.
And then the multiplayer for Cyberpunk 2077 won't be out until 2021, which makes sense if they're delaying this to September. Look, most people buying this game are not buying it for multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even bothered.
It's like the whole Red Dead 2 thing. I'm like, oh, some people are complaining. I was like, dude, I did not buy the game for. It's an added bonus. If it's not that great, I mean, what I played was fun, but I didn't get super deep into it. Yeah, you got your 80 hours of gameplay. And I played 80 hours, and that was like I rushed through it. So I imagine if I had really wanted to do like all this stuff, it would have been over 100 hours. And then on top of the multiplayer, which you can play for whatever, I'm not complaining.
I think most people aren't going to be bothered by that. Maybe it'll be a pleasant surprise, though. Like I mentioned months ago, The Last of Us, the original The Last of Us, which was just an amazing game. I loved the multiplayer. I mean, mind you, no one ever played the multiplayer because it wasn't really.
I never played.
Exactly.
I never played the
multiplayer.
No,
like no one has. But I was just so pleasantly surprised by that. So maybe that'll happen with Cyberpunk, where we will, and also by that time, most of us will have finished the game. And then we get to, I guess, relive it again in a more competitive setting.
I mean, originally we were going to talk about the Sony thing, but let's hold off on that. Let's just fold in these other delays, right?
Yeah.
The other big delay. Well, let's talk about the minor one first. The Final Fantasy VII remake. It's a month, right? It's not that big of a deal.
Like I said, the support has been crazy. People are they're like, take your time. Also, like if you look back, like I've been following this project since day one, and I know that the part of the reason for the delays is because they really had to help Kingdom Hearts 3 to be able to make sure that Kingdom Hearts 3 hit its launch last year. And now that obviously Kingdom Hearts 3 is out of the way, they were able to focus on this. But like, I mean, I know from the story I heard, they were literally 2 doors apart. It was just like going from one door to the other door. Like they're both Square Enix. They got to go help them out. But yeah, so I was expecting a delay, to be honest. I was impressed that they didn't announce a delay when all that happened.
Yeah, it's only a month from March 3rd to April 10th.
And the date itself has hopped around over the past 4 years. When they originally announced this game, I believe it was meant to be coming out in 2021, possibly even. And we're still getting the game a year earlier from what they initially said. Mind you, there was also a couple years ago when they said the game was going to come out even earlier, like 2019. But either way, I'm still like, here I am happy. I didn't think 4 years ago I'd be getting the game, so I'm just happy to be getting the game.
Yeah. A bigger one, not as big as Cyberpunk 2077, but bigger than Final Fantasy in terms of the length of delay. Avengers, Marvel's Avengers has been pushed back to September 4th. Originally it was going to come out on May 15th of this year. That's a significant delay, much like the Cyberpunk 2077. Good thing they're coming out before Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. This one I am a little bit more bummed.
Okay.
A little bit more bummed about the delay, just because it seemed like they from the original first announcement, and they got a little backlash, and then they were saying we're already improving it and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm in the middle. I'm fine with them delaying it just to make sure that it actually comes out great, but at the same time it was damn, I was really.
I feel the same.
You know what? I feel like. At least this is kind of my policy right now. If a studio delays a game once, it's fine. But when you start delaying 2-3 times, then you're like, okay, there's a problem here. Because when you delay once, it's like, okay, it just got beyond our control. There's a lot more things we thought we had to do. So we readjusted and found a new date. But then if you try and
If you delay a third time, the only thing I'm thinking of is, did someone buy your IP? Did you switch studios? What's going on? No, yeah, that's a short look. The Marvels thing, I think Dorian said it as well. I'm fairly bummed about that one. The reason I'm a bit skeptical and bummed about it as well is because they don't have my trust the way that CD Projekt Red has. CD Projekt Red has my full trust ever since The Witcher 3. I'll trust them with my kidney if they need it. But yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm a little bummed because it's I hope that they do I hope they do polish it when it comes out. But it's one of those things where it's I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about it. I'm a bit bummed out with the delay, but how much more could they polish?
Also,
this
that's
thing?
the thing is the scope of it. The thing with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077 is that we know the game is huge,
Yeah.
right? And it's very complex and complicated in terms of
Well, the city itself is
the
small,
city
but
and
the things in the city are
yeah,
huge.
like
There's
just
so
in terms
much.
of your storyline, your branching
Yeah.
characters, and the interactions. There's just a lot of varied things. The Avengers one is pretty straightforward, right? It's
Yeah.
you go on an adventure. There's not
a lot of intricacies.
It's not a sandbox. You're not going. You know what I mean? It's straightforward. Here's the
side
mission.
quests.
You go. You beat people up, right?
Honestly, I'm thinking, especially after today's announcement, I wouldn't. If I was the Marvel team and like being so close up to Cyberpunk, even though it's Marvel and stuff like that, I feel like there's been more hype for Cyberpunk than the new Marvel's
Yeah,
Avengers
of course,
games.
for
So
sure.
I feel like after this announcement, I feel like Marvel should be like, I don't want our game to be that close to Cyberpunk's release. Like I wouldn't want at least a month of breathing room before you have another big blockbuster game. It's like putting two big ass movies back to
Well,
back.
good
to
thing
each
they're
other,
not
so.
putting it after or on
Yeah.
the same date. Because
So
then
I would see after this. I mean, I would give it a month or so, but I would say like hopefully we get an announcement saying surprise, we're pushing the date back up. We got a little bit more like after today's announcement. If I was Marvel, I'd be like, hey, we need to get the engineers back in the room real quick. Like put a little bit more pressure on them to like speed up, just maybe like a few weeks, so it has just a tiny bit more breathing room, being away from Cyberpunk, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt it'll happen, but I just think they're too close, and my wallet's not trying to spend money like that back to back either way.
I guess if you look at it, they really kind of bit off a bit more than they can chew. Like if you look at most superhero games, it's usually most superhero like open world action games. It's usually about the one superhero. Now they've got to nail a whole team of people, and I mean nail. They got to get the canon right. They got to get the suits right. They got to get the powers right. Everything they did, like that's quite a lot to take on. If they just did an Iron Man game, that would have sold just as well, I think. And
well, they got the Iron Man VR, but
yeah, and there was also an Iron Man game like from like I think it was like the first Iron Man movie came out, and they made a movie game off of it. But
I got
like,
that one on PSP, by the way. Sorry.
Hell yeah, but I was gonna say like they should. I mean, especially with the success of Spider-Man and the Batman series. I don't know why there isn't a Superman out yet, or why we don't have an Iron Man. Like I feel like an Iron Man game on its own would be easier for them to hone in on their project rather than having to develop Thor and Iron Man and the Hulk and like all these other people. You know what I mean? Ideally, they should have done it like the MCU, had their own individual games, and then you know, boom,
collab.
that would have been so much money for them as well.
And they could have it set up like how the actual games and movies are. Like it takes like a year apart from each other. Like I don't know, that would be cool
That
as
would
well.
work. Yeah, they could use the same engine for most of it. You know.
So I'm hoping now that they have this time, they're also putting it, like I just said, they have the Iron Man VR that comes out like end of February. So hopefully that'll knock people's socks
Hopefully
off and give
it'll
them a hold, a long enough hold over until the next Marvel thing comes out.
All right, now let's talk about what originally was going to be the main topic, which is Sony is skipping E3 again. Much more notable this time than last time, because last time was like, look, it happened, we didn't like it. We're like, okay, well, they don't really have that many big games. I think
They didn't have much to talk about, you know.
yeah, I think maybe Death Stranding was the only one they had.
That was it.
Coming.
Yeah, I think that Spider-Man was already out at that point, I think, as well. So
Yes. So we were like, okay, there's no new system, but they'll be back next year because PlayStation 5 is going to be out, and they're going to have Last of Us Part 2, and they're going to have all these things coming, but apparently not. They decided to skip it again. Like, I don't know if
I think it's going to bite them in the ass, man. I think it's going to bite them. I know that they're doing a bunch of other small things all over the world, but E3 is pretty big, man. Like for years before like I started doing this with you guys, even like I would watch E3 and I was like, that was my source of like video game like knowledge, you know. That was my fountain of knowledge for it. So it's like I think it's going to affect their sales, even though I guess in their mind they're like, we do all these small shows globally, and they've been doing a lot more stuff out of North America, which is interesting. Like not doing as many shows in North America, but I don't know, man. I think it's going to affect their sales. I'm worried.
I know. I liken it to the Comic-Con. When let's say a Marvel or DC or whatever studio decides to skip out, especially when you're talking about like Marvel, Star Wars, or DC, I feel like it doesn't do the fans any service because, like I said, everyone's like, oh, well, they can have their own whatever. There'll be a Marvel Con or a Star Wars. There already is a Star Wars
I guess
celebration.
Sony's doing their State of Play live stream where like over the year
I
they kind
know,
of tell
but
you what
it's
goes
just
on.
like as a fan and as a person, like, I like going to conventions, but the thing is, you can only go to so much, right?
Yeah.
So if I go to E3, I want it all. I want all the Xbox games. I want all the PlayStation games. I want all the Nintendo games. I want everything in one place so that I don't have to go to separate conventions
Agreed.
for every little thing. And so that's where I take issue with it. It's like, okay, you can have your separate thing and just...
They're doing a Sony experience, I think, in Japan later this year. It's probably to do with their VR, I'd imagine. But that would have done great at E3, I think. Like, do the Sony experience at E3. There would have been more people there, and it's like... I don't know, man. Then again, it's like we're not sitting at the board table at Sony going, like, making these decisions. I'm sure that they've, I guess, like I said, in their mind, they really think that it's going to work out just as well. I mean, if it worked out for them last year, you know. Then again, I also thought they were going to announce the PS5 at Gamescom last year, and they didn't.
So I
was
thought,
convinced.
I thought they were going to do a big showcase of the PS5 at E3 this year. On a side note,
at least show what it looks like, you know.
Because on the heel of this news, they asked Xbox. Phil Spencer said, yes, Xbox will be at E3 2020. So their plans is to showcase Xbox Series X.
Get all those fans, man.
Yeah. We'll see if this affects sales. Let's see what happens. Let's see, what Xbox shows, and will PlayStation fans feel left out, like there's nothing going on, or so I kind of like, I don't know if Sony wants to do this, but like Apple did kind of something like this at NAB. So NAB is National Association of Broadcasters, and it's more geeky for people who are into video stuff, but it's like they show off the newest cameras, newest software, everything to do with like gear and whatnot. And so you have big players there like Adobe and Microsoft and all these big brands that make camera like
Red. And
Red, Panasonic, like all these brands there. Well, many years ago, Apple decided to skip out on NAB, right? But what they did was they set up their own like separate little conference or convention for Apple
at the
same time, just not at the convention. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're like, oh,
why split people apart like that? Oh man, I mean, I guess I get the
Sony.
business
It
side
doesn't
of
say
things,
Sony's doing that, but what I'm saying is just reminds me of kind of like, okay, they separated off. Is Sony going to end up doing that?
I kind of liked having Sony and Xbox at E3 because it's like even though yes there are arguments, but there's like the spirit, there's like the console wars are still alive, and it's like now it's just gonna be Xbox like all the way, which is cool, but it's like I want to see a bit of that rivalry, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel the same way like y'all do. I'm willing to give Sony I think they emphasize in their article like they're really strategizing their plan for global like a layout for what they're going to do. So I'm going to give them a chance like if they're going to actually hit it hard and like try to make it appeasable for everybody and go to all these events like and maybe set up even minor like multiple events across the year building up until the release of whatever they're trying to do, then I'll give them a chance like if they actually go about making the emphasis on making sure everybody is like actually getting to play and test out these games, because in the quote itself it says like our focus is on making sure the fans feel part of the PlayStation family and have access to all of our favorite content. And I'm not saying like it feels like a little jab to E3 because I don't know, because last year I feel like we were talking about when we were at E3 like the whole time we didn't really even get to play much. We were just watching or sitting there like not even getting to test out much. So I don't know if like that's a little jab at them saying like our fans are actually going to get to play the games this time rather than like either wait in line or just like see a little test demo that they're not going to get to test out. So if that's what they're focusing on, then I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
But why not have at least some sort of showcase? Press conference.
I'm gonna say like at least show what it looks like. I mean, it's a huge press conference. At least show like what the PlayStation 5 is going to look like, or announce maybe a couple more games on it. Like we got a couple at the Game Awards, but like even those weren't like. I mean, those are set. We know they're on the PS5, but we don't know if they're exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I get what you're saying as well. Like when you go to those conferences, it's difficult to And like the time you do get on those on the games is so limited as well.
Unless you have unless you have like an appointment or something. Like if you're just an average fan and you're waiting in a long ass line, you get like how many 15 or not even that.
10, 15
I wouldn't say it's like I remember Tony. He was in the Dragon Ball Z line for like 4 hours and didn't end up even getting to play. So like
that's crazy. I remember
so
when
if they're going to emphasize on the fan aspect of it, then I'll give them a chance like to make sure like fans get to play their stuff.
Yeah.
I remember we had like an hour to play Just Cause 4, and then like that wasn't enough. I got the game. I was like, I wish I had more than an hour to know what I was gonna get myself into.
So yeah, that's another thing, a little disappointing. But hopefully we just get more news from Sony.
I need to know what this looks like, Dennis. I've been
The
losing
console?
sleep. Yeah, I know what the dev kit looks like.
With the V, the futuristic
It looks
V.
like a freaking engine, but I need to know. Like, and the only reason it looks like that, I think, is because it's got to be like I can't even think of the word right now, but I think it's for the PSVR. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I know that all those extra boxes are going to be integrated into PS5. But,
Yeah.
I mean, surely
Which
they're not
way
going to
knows?
release this like VTech engine looking thing. So I'm curious. Sony makes very ergonomic looking things, you know, from their TVs to their speakers to their headphones. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I want to picture it in my living room. I like the Xbox Alexa, but I want to see what the PS5 is going to look like.
Xbox Alexa.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, the Doom Eternal trailer. The new one came out.
You guys get to play that tomorrow.
Yeah.
He gets to play it.
I thought this trailer looked great. I mean, I think I talked to you before we
Didn't
started
I send
recording.
you the trailer, I think? I think I sent you the trailer on Facebook.
Yeah.
Either that or the Resident Evil 3 one of the two.
The thing is I told you, like, this type of FPS isn't totally my thing, right? Just the kind of high octane, you know, adrenaline, you know, lots of killing and fast motion, and you know what I mean. But I did play the demo at E3 and it was fun. It was fun, and I actually really like this trailer.
I mean, like we haven't had gameplay since I think the previous E3, and it looked smooth, man.
Yeah.
The melee at the end, like it just looked smooth. It's one of those games where like I need to get it. Like I think I told you earlier, I got Doom on PlayStation, and it's amazing, but I regret it because it's one of those games where I can see the freedom of a mouse and keyboard in terms of turning around and your mobility, and it's like it just takes me back to Quake Arena, and it just makes me want a new Quake game so bad. I just want a new Quake game.
After this trailer, I was like, I really want to play it because we're going to the thing tomorrow, but him and our writer Tom, I think you met him. He's been on the podcast. They're going to get to play it. I'm just going to be chilling doing my social thing. So like this made me want to. I'm gonna take my spot back and be like, all right, I'm going to play this game.
I'm sure you
now.
can sneak in there and start playing.
I really hope that they release a VR version for this as well, because Doom Virtual fucking Reality was amazing. Like I got to do it on the PSVR, which is not the best setup, and it was just I could just imagine untethered on the Quest if that's even possible. But like I love the VR experience for Doom, and I really hope that they do it again for this next one.
Yeah, I mean the graphics look great.
Are you guys going to be able to do some of the multiplayer tomorrow?
I don't believe so. I think it's like the first 3 hours of the game.
Some more story.
Which I remember I played the first, I would say first 45 to an hour of it at
the last
E3.
Man,
damn.
They're definitely making it more cinematic, more. Look, Doom's not a super story based.
Yeah, well, they're giving it as much story as they can.
They're trying to, and then you know this. You know, it's funny looking at the comments in the trailer. Like they're making the Slayer like kind of that Chuck Norris type meme, right? Like you know, the Slayer has entered the chat, and then it's like all the demons have left the chat. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. But it's just funny, and I'm looking forward to it. You know,
it looks crisp as well.
Yeah.
Like I mean, a good half of the trailer is cinematic, the other half is gameplay. But the gameplay looks sick. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna grab this one on PC this time just because I want to. Like, I mean, you can get the same experience by upping your sensitivity on your controller, but I like it's like I said, I grew up playing Quake on PC, so I need a
even if you upgrade your sensitivity on your controller, you're not going to get the precision. Like a mouse would.
Exactly. I know just by flicking my wrist like that, that's already a 180 turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks crisp, man. It looks crisp. That's good. A lot of people are excited about this.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Here we go. Halo, the TV series that's going to be on Showtime. not that it's public, but apparently at the Television Critics Association Winter Press Tour in Pasadena, which is right near here, Showtime revealed for the first image of the Master Chief armor.
It looks good,
and apparently people are raving about it.
Oh yeah, it looks good. I mean, I think I've seen a lot of people already like making comments referring it to the Mandalorian. You know, having that like strong silent character type. It's looking good, man. It's looking crisp.
So yeah, this is looking for a first quarter 2021 release.
And that they're filming right now. Where?
In Hungary. Budapest.
There we go.
Hungary.
Budapest. Yeah.
So that's a good sign. I mean, people who saw it were talking about, how good it looked.
Haley dipped for that.
Did she?
Yeah, she didn't get to see it. She left early.
No love
I know.
for Master Chief and Halo. Have you started the Halo series yet?
The video games?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Oh, you got it. But
I know. That's
But you know what you should do is you should play co-op.
Dennis. We've established this already. Your boy doesn't have friends. Oh, you don't have it on you don't have PS4. I mean on Xbox.
Dude, we can split screen it.
Oh shit. Okay, bet.
Well, I don't. My favorite co-op one was Halo 4. I enjoyed the co-op for Halo 4.
All right.
And I split screened
It's
that.
fun.
Okay,
the entire
all right,
game.
all right.
Co-op is so fun in that.
Right.
Especially when
we'll set it up
like
here at the office.
like when one guy's driving the Warthog and the other guy's on the back with the gunner.
All
It's
right.
so much fun.
We'll bring it in. We'll set it up in that. We'll set it up in the new conference.
Did you ever play Griffball?
No.
Griffball was a multiplayer mode for Halo that involved you using the swords and the hammers, and there's like a bowl, and it's kind of like a sport. It was really, really fun. I can't even begin to explain it, but Griffball was my shit.
Yeah, definitely Halo, especially before Halo Infinite comes out. All right. Next one. HTC Vive Pro. You sent me this, Josh.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff.
They dropped the price by $200, which is a significant amount.
Still, it's still pricey. We're looking at like $899.
Yeah.
But
this is the high end of. This is like with like the Valve Index, right?
Yeah.
With the highest resolution and whatnot. So
do we know what price the Valve Index is coming in again?
It's 1,000.
So they must have dropped the price then to be able to compete.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's about $100 less than the Index.
Yeah.
You're still going to need like an $1,100 computer to run it, probably.
Yeah, the same thing with the Index as well. I don't know.
But that's a given at this point.
You could get away with like $800. You could get an $800 computer that could decently run some VR, just not the high end stuff, whatever. When you watch Half-Life Alyx and you see that trail, that is that's a RTX 2080
with the Ryzen 5.
Yeah, like that's like optimal to the max,
Man, this headline made it sound like you're getting a real good deal with that $200.
It's $200 off,
$200,
guys.
man. Then you click on it, it was like, all right, it was 1,000 something.
Yeah.
Now I feel like that discount wouldn't like. If you're already willing to,
if you already have the base stations though, because you can get just the headset for $599.
That's not bad, actually.
Oh,
so if you already have the base stations and the controllers,
then
you can just swap out the headset
for the
because that's where most of the
it's gonna have
improvements.
It's gonna have the 4K screen, better head tracking. Which makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's right in time for the next Half-Life. So I thought that'd be a good thing to bring up. And then also, if you own Jedi Knight Fallen Order, you can now have access to all the pre-order exclusives, which is cool. But I guess it's a way of getting people to go back to play the game again.
That's exactly what it is. Because once not that I wasn't like planning on going back to play it anytime soon, but like as soon as like I saw that news and like I saw like, oh, you can get all that, I was like, all right, let me go back and
I'll go play around a bit.
Let me go see what
Swing
this
an orange
lightsaber. Let me go be Ray real quick.
I thought hers was yellow.
Orange is yellow.
Yeah. It was like
she's Rey
goldish.
Skywalker now.
Goldish.
One of the other things that I brought up as well, which is crazy, is actually it's not that crazy because it makes sense. The Epic Games Store made $680 million so far, and 90% of that is from exclusives. So they're probably never going to stop doing exclusives. Why would they? Also
think about it this way: Steam is the big giant in this space, and the only way you're really getting people over to your store is with exclusives.
Of course, yeah.
To me, that when I read this, makes me think, how much money is Steam making? If Epic has this much of that pie of the online game stores.
It's scary to think that, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's like looking back now, because it's been a while since we've had the Epic Game Store. I was looking forward to it because not specifically to use Epic Game Store, which I do use, but more so because I was like a competitor for Steam. Steam's finally gonna make some improvements, guys. And here I am, like a year later, and Steam's the exact same, and I've got the exact same problems. And I was like, oh, you would
They
think
make so much money, they don't care.
They really don't. I was like, and Steam doesn't even care what games they put on there. Well, there was a rape simulator on there at one point. Yeah, it was on there for like a whole day or two.
Jesus.
Like it was on like trending.
Jeez.
Jeez.
I mean, it had a different name, simulator, but essentially that's what you were doing. Like, which is crazy. Like who? Like I said, Steam's Greenlight system is I'm pretty sure it's fully automated. They have like if you go to Steam's Greenlight page, you can play a lot of like early access games, which is cool. You can also put your own game on there. So obviously, it went through those routes to eventually being like on the top 10 recommended.
Speaking of Steam, you can go ahead and pick up Twin Peaks VR on Steam right now.
Yes,
Gotta
you
get that quick
can.
plug.
There you go.
There you go. On and Oculus as well, if you prefer the Oculus Store
I think you
platform.
mentioned something about GTA 5 on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
Dorian told me about
Hell
that.
yeah, that's awesome. man.
I downloaded it. I'm going back on. I haven't played in about 2 weeks.
I wish I was younger.
I wish it was
if I was young,
crossplay.
if I was younger, I could have Game Pass and it would actually be like
beneficial.
Yeah, beneficial. To me, the only reason I don't have it is because I don't have the time to fully take advantage of it. But like, if I was younger, I'd be like, this is the greatest deal ever.
It is, and like I'm catching because I like took a whole. Like,
Did you get
holiday
like the
break
first
and
3
everything.
months for $1? Did you
Yeah,
do that deal?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm saving like.
Did- and also-
I
But
love
even
that.
when you go back up, it's like what, $10 a month?
Even then, I don't think so. It might be.
I think
but
it's $10
I
a
feel like
month.
it's worth it.
It's either 10 or 15, but I think it's 10 because that's PS Now service is 10 as well.
Yeah, but I mean, think about you're playing all these older, yes, but AAA titles.
Yeah, a majority of my like catalog just in my library of like games I've saved came from Game Pass, and even new ones like Gears 5. It was on.
Yeah.
Like they put Gears 5 right on.
Outer
Game
Worlds
Pass.
is on there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's such a good
Dude.
deal.
They got older Gears games. You know what? That is what you can play Halo on is Game Pass. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're
All the
all
Halo
like
games.
I got
Yeah,
them
Hell
downloaded.
yeah.
I just haven't like cracked it open yet,
And
so I
then
need
also-
to. But I'm going. But now he's saying to do it with co-op, so just hit me up. and we'll make moves.
Dorian, if you did the $1 for 3 months deal, take a look into that because with that deal you got half a year of Spotify Premium for free. You also got 3 months of EA Access for free.
Bro,
So check out EA Access because that's also free games, bro, and you got 3 months of it. So
all right, I'll look into
definitely
that.
look into that because that was part of your the deal that they were doing.
Yeah, and I for sure got the 190. I made sure to. I don't miss
3
on a
months for
discount.
$1? Hell yeah.
Like, bro, come on now.
Also, Dragon Ball Z
Kakarot coming out tomorrow.
Yes, and then you are going to be playing it.
Yes.
Later tonight. I sent you the review codes.
I'm excited. I'm gonna review the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this game since they announced it because even the fishing mechanics, like down to the fishing mechanics, I'm excited. There's a side mission where any fans of Dragon Ball Z, like the Dragon Ball Z series, there's a side quest where you, Goku, and Piccolo get to get a driver's license, and it's so amazing because you're literally doing and if you do this driver's license, you get a car. I mean, you can fly around, but they give you a car so you can, if you want to, drive along the road in a car. You know, I'm very excited for it.
And I believe this is a game Tony waited 4 hours for at E3 and didn't get to play.
Yep.
Nice.
It's I've been told that the combat is great. It punishes you for button mashing, so you can't just button mash your way through everything. You have to like time things and a bit of working out. The side quests aren't really worth it, but hopefully that's something they can fix over time and they can add more in. I just want it for the story, which is what I've been told that it's amazing. If you're just there for the story, you're going to be reliving all your favorite moments through this game, which is basically every Dragon Ball Z game, but now done on a much better platform and open world, which is cool. Or open world-ish, I should say. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I think that's it for topics. You guys have anything else you guys want to talk about? What are you playing?
Playing right now because I didn't play any video games over the holiday break, and I was sick like the past couple weeks, so I've just been dead. But now that I'm getting back into the motion, just been catching up on Apex because there's a. Have you been playing like that new Gold Rush mode? I played one.
Did you play the Christmas mode on the train?
No,
dude, that was amazing. That was such a good mode.
From when I left for home, I made a decision to just leave my Xbox and stuff so I could focus on the fam. So like the whole
fair enough
until I got back in like January 1st, and then even still like for like 3 weeks I haven't played. Like this is the first.
It was a game mode where like
Ryan, what up? We're finishing up now.
I didn't know whatsoever. I just didn't know that it was in here.
Pro Wrestling Sheet Ryan, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gold Rush mode on Apex. It's where you play as duos this time, but like every weapon is a gold weapon.
That's awesome.
Besides like the armor and stuff was like regular, but
the
every
Winter
weapon
Rush
is
was cool because when you land, you already have a loadout. You have like a set loadout when you play, so you didn't have to look around. You just land, start shooting.
The one.
Did they make do as a permanent thingy?
No, it's not permanent.
I hope so. I wanted solos to be permanent.
No,
there's a lot of issues with solos.
No,
as well.
I like. It has to be 3 people. I can't carry. I can't have the responsibility be 50% on me, especially if I'm the better one out of the 2. That you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like I need 3 people, so there's at least another chance for somebody else to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been oddly enough got back into Fortnite 2. I guess is now what it's called. Hey. I've really been enjoying Fortnite 2. Been playing a lot of that, mainly just because I have a lot of friends who play it. Whereas a lot of my friends who play Apex nowadays work 9-to-5 jobs, and it's difficult to get a good session of Apex in unless we're in the same room and we're LANing. And then I've been playing Risk of Rain 2, which was on sale for $30. It is a sequel to my favorite indie game of all time. It came out in 2012 called Risk of Rain. It was only a $10 game. I got it on Steam one day because it was recommended, and I've clocked over probably near 600 hours in the original game. It has a lot of replayability, and they took the original game and just gave us a 3D version because it was a 2D side platforming game. They gave us the exact same game but in a 3D world, and I've been playing for hours and hours. It's so good. If anybody likes roguelike shooters, check it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Dorian, where like during the Christmas break I was like, I've got plenty of time. I don't think I played. If I played anything, it might have been
Devil May Cry 5. Sorry.
Okay,
I finished Devil May Cry 5. That was fucking incredible. If you haven't played it yet,
is it
so
like?
Good.
It's like. Do you have the same opinion as Caboose? He had a Game of the Year last year, I think. Or you have it up there, pretty up there.
It's up there. I'd say for me, it's definitely like, and I loved Outer Worlds, but I would put it above Outer Worlds.
Okay.
And
Outer Worlds is, I'm still playing.
Yeah. It's just one of those games where like the cutscenes are just so like, I mean, literally what the director said was that they were going for is badass, and every single moment is just badass, dude. Like it's like unlogical moments, but it's just cool, epic slow-mo gunslinging fight scenes. Oh, you gotta love it, man. It's like a 13-year-old's wet dream.
Nice. And then, man, I guess as we sign off, and we had talked about all these delays, we had talked about Half-Life Alyx in March. I don't know, man. Now that I'm hearing all these other delays of these other games, I just
think Half-Life's gonna get delayed.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it, man.
It's possible, especially because
March is right around the corner.
Especially because they're looking at all these other studios and they're like, if they can get away with it, that's probably what they're thinking as well,
And also, like we mentioned before, Valve doesn't need the money. I mean,
they don't. Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx, they're losing money making this game, okay? Because they're putting on the VR platform, and they're losing money because they want to push ahead their hardware system, right?
Which they're literally creating themselves in their own warehouses. I think it's that is the cool thing about the Valve Index is that it's American made and here made in the States in warehouses. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
But like them delaying, I guess, wouldn't really hurt them. You know what I mean? Like,
no. I mean, I haven't seen a tweet from Gabe Newell, and he's just sitting there on top of his pile of money like the dragon he is. No, it's not going to affect him. Yeah.
Bit of unrelated news that just broke: Taika Waititi's being eyed to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, but what's the next Star Wars movie?
It's going to be standalone. It's probably going to be standalone.
It's got to be a standalone because.
They should give us a Qui-Gon Jinn origin story.
They're going to take a break from the trilogy saga, or at least the Skywalker trilogy saga, and then I could imagine a standalone, but then what's the standalone going to be about?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be like a prequel, like maybe we'll finally get to see some like Knights of the Old Republic type situation. I don't know.
You think this is going to be the one Kevin Feige's producing?
Probably. I mean, with the Taika Waititi connection, the Jon Favreau
I
connection.
mean, with Taika Waititi,
It's funny because like the whole Marvel team is now like starting to
They're like,
slowly
all right,
take over Star Wars.
We did what
maybe
we had
we'll
to
get
do
another
in
solo
Endgame.
movie.
Hell no.
Because like I'm just
No.
thinking, because Taika, I'm not suggesting it. I'm only thinking that because Taika Waititi, I love his stuff, but it always has a slight comedic tone. So I'm trying to think what Star Wars movie could have a slight comedic tone.
I don't know. I feel like Solo. If we ever see Solo again, it would be on Disney Plus.
Did you see they're bringing back Jar Jar Binks for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Yeah, I heard about
They're
that.
bringing back Jar Jar Binks, bro.
What the fuck?
I'm assuming it's like a cameo. You know what I mean?
Probably,
I don't think he's like a supporting character. I think he's
Yeah.
just like shows up in one scene where
Probably be like in the first episode, like they like go their separate ways. Obi-Wan's like, okay, cool. I'm
yeah.
gonna go do my thing now.
All right, that's it for us here. Dorian, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec, and you can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and we'll be here at Collider Games.
Josh?
You guys can find me on Instagram at josh.toki, and you guys can find me on Twitch at josh_toki.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Subscribe to our podcast feed. That's the Collider Factory podcast feed. For every single week, we'll be here. So until next week, see you guys later.